on the phone. Congratulations, I just heard your name on the radio. You were chosen for the competition.
You already knew, right, sir? Look, thank you very much. If I didn't find you, none of this would have happened. I owe you for the rest of my life.
Only if you want to. You just have to accept my invitation to dinner tomorrow. Then you owe me nothing else.
Dinner tomorrow?
I came to say goodbye, but on second thought, I will not miss this bad mood.
And we're having lunch together.
First work, then pleasure. I'm meeting with a communication consultant. I need to fix the image of B-Sports after the disastrous event.
Good luck then.
Be careful, Lemba. If your boyfriend tastes this one day, he'll exchange you for your mother.
Look, for me to go through that, I'd have to get a boyfriend first.
Crystal Mineral Water is a sanctuary of refreshment. The quality of each crystal bottle is stringently verified.
Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association sprang to life in 1987 and has since then given female entrepreneurs to lace their own bootstraps and make a quantum leap in business. But the COVID pandemic has slowed businesses and placed the small and medium enterprises into a chokehold. On Citizen Voices this evening, we have a panel of 3 women entrepreneurs, including Barbara Ofono Buyondo, who is the chairperson of Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association Limited, Nasali Huda, who represents the youth on the board, and Sarah Muhaise, who is the treasurer. Good evening and welcome to Citizen Voices. I'm your host, Emmanuel Mutaiziwa, and our hashtag is Amplifying Citizen Voices. First things first, Huda, you have a very busy month of November, and you've lined out a number of activities, which is basically the highlight of your entrepreneurship month. Please take us through what exactly you intend to do in the month of November.
At the Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association, we have so many activities going on in this month of November because it's the month in which we recognize the women entrepreneurs. We do this through organizing a series of activities that are aimed at recognizing the enterprising woman and also helping build capacity and advocate for the woman. We have a series of programs that we run at the UWIL Secretariat, which we use to advocate, which we use to build capacity of the different women entrepreneurs during the month of November. And we also, at the end of the month, organize a conference where we come together to celebrate, network, so that we can be able to get to the next level in our businesses.
To bring you in to Muhaise, sorry.
Yes.
We know that we're coming from a very difficult situation. The economy has been battered by the COVID pandemic, and definitely businesses have been roiled as a result of that. A number of SMEs have collapsed, a number of big businesses are defaulting on commercial loans, and some businesses are being foreclosed by banks because if they placed collateral, definitely the commercial banks have to recover the money that they lent. What are the short-term and long-term plans to ensure that you resuscitate this business and be able to help women who have been placed into extremely vulnerable situations as a result of the pandemic?
Thank you, Amma. It is true. COVID-19 has affected each and everyone. Household, even the stable businesses that we think that they are really performing, they have been affected seriously. On our part, on UWIL, we are trying to come up with strategies. One of the strategies that we have come up with to help women come up from where they have fallen is we have a facility we are organizing with Uganda Development Bank. Sorry. We are organizing a partnership with Uganda Development Bank, whereby women will be able to get facilities to bring up their businesses. As you know, Uganda Development Bank has been known to give facilities to only big businesses, 100 million and above. But through this partnership, we are able now to go down to the grassroots and give the women the money. At this point, I would like to appreciate the CEO of UDB, Patricia Ojagore, because without her partnering with us, I don't think we would be able to be standing right here and talk about UDB. Our chairperson also has a big role there, because it is her who approached Patricia to be able to give these women this facility at reasonable prices. We are getting these facilities at as low as 10% for agriculture business, and then up to 12%, depending on the sector you are in. So we know that the women will be able to stand up, and you know, once the women is empowered, the whole household is strong, and the economy is able to be built up, and there is development.
To bring you in, Madam Chairperson, credit, as you're aware, is low credit is low credit, and access to credit is a major bottleneck for a number of businesses in this country, and I think it's the biggest hurdle in terms of, you know, businesses that are starting at a nascent stage and be able to sustain themselves until they break even. How are you trying to tap to ensure that women entrepreneurs are able to tap into low credit facilities?
Thank you so much, Emma. First and foremost, when you look at the economy, the rates, the lending rates from the banks, from the microfinances, you find that the amount is so way high. So getting this opportunity from UDB, where the percentage is between 10 to 12%, it does so well, especially for our women entrepreneurs, because we have been training them. We do a lot of helping them to understand their books, so that when they get this money, it is money that is going to grow the business. And when they do that, as they are growing the business, women are very integral people. I know they are going to pay back this money, and it is going to grow their businesses, and they are going to employ more people. They are going even to get more credit, because their businesses are going to grow from that micro bit. Okay, we also have large businesses, but whatever level they are, when you access credit, you're able to deliver on what your promise is well on time, and you're able to do it with quality. So I really want to appreciate UDB, because when this credit comes, the economy is going to grow. The woman is going to grow. Families are going to be so happy. So for me, one thing I know, the women will be able to pay back this money.
UDB is just one of the facilities, just to whatever supplement that you say is going to lend to women entrepreneurs between 50 and 900 million. How much money are they willing to lend in total, and where else can you try to seek other credit facilities? Because it may not be, the resource envelope may not be adequate enough to cater for every, you know, women entrepreneurship group or association.
Thank you so much, Emma. But for now, we are looking at 2.5 million women. So at the moment, we are not rushing towards anything.
And how much money are you expecting from UDB?
It is according to what these women will be able to request, but they are looking at the number of 2.5 million, and they are looking at the range between 50 to 900 million. So that is the bracket at the moment that we are in. So I'm really not worried that the money will be little at the moment.
But commercial banks and other facilities continue to have extremely high lending rates.
Yes, they continue having, but it wouldn't really be prudent for these women who have suffered during this COVID time. You know, when you're a mother, the first thing you would wish to see is that your children have eaten. So most of them even went and count on their capital to see that their children have eaten, to see that their children are going back to school, to see that their children really can also access health. So I would really still encourage the woman out there. It is better for you to get a loan which is at a lower interest rate than you just accessing a loan which is going to kill your business.
Huda, the youth is a very important, we have a demographic dividend in terms of, you know, the numbers. Uganda has the second youngest population in the world, only second to Niger. But it can also be destructive on the other hand. If you have unemployed youth, they can engage in all sorts of activities, including criminal activities. You need to tap into things like technology, venture capital, and the like. Especially for our young women like you, who's been able to, you know, scale the lofty heights of entrepreneurship. Two, we also see a very interesting observation in this country. We have a very high attrition rate in terms of business. We have a lot of zeal. I think Uganda, in 2016, there was a study which showed that Uganda was the most entrepreneurial nation on earth. But at the same time, it had the highest, our businesses had the highest attrition rate that, you know, businesses could barely be able to celebrate their first birthday. How do you ensure that young people, young women, especially young women, that you represent on the UL board can be able to have sustainable business models to live up to see their first birthday and break even and become, I mean, profitable associations?
Thank you so much, Emma. Just to put it into perspective, when you say the highest
attrition rate.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about the population of the youth.
Yes, sorry.
To put it into perspective, we're 77% of the country's population, so which is a very huge percentage, and we contribute we contribute a lot to the GDP of the country, because most of the youth, when they join the workforce, they come through as an informal sector, so contributing to the GDP of the country. And when you look at the youth, the workforce in Uganda, we are predominantly youth. Even when you talk about industrialization, you know, in the 21st century and digitalization, these are mainly youth who are at the forefront of all the workforce, which means we have a productive economy because we have a very big population of the youth. And we appreciate government for the intervention in the education sector, because most of the youth in Uganda today are very educated, but there is a skills gap which is lacking in the education sector, which organizations like you will come in to bridge that gap. Through our mandate of capacity building, we are able to skill youth and to empower them to be able to build sustainable businesses. In our mandate, again, for advocacy, we are able to advocate for favorable work climate for the youth, favorable business climate for youth enterprises, and we are also able to give them a platform where they can network and also link them to markets in the country and also out of the country through the partners that we have in the association.
For the youth who are out there watching you, what are those skills that you can impart for you who is being able to have a sustainable business in tea?
in specialty teas.
Specialty teas, yes.
When a youth is part of You Will, first of all, like our chair told you, that we have a pool of women at different levels. We have women at the grassroots, because those are represented through the different chapters that we have at the grassroots levels. We have presence in over 78 districts across the country. So the youth, when they come into the space, they are linked up with like minds. They are put in clusters. If you come in as a farmer, you're put in a cluster of fellow farmers. And in that cluster, you'll find farmers who are who have made it. So in that business to business mentorship and linkages, you're able to build a sustainable business because you're being mentored by the people who have already made it in the particular sector that you're in. Even if you come and you're into the transport business, you'll be clustered accordingly. So the youth have an opportunity coming to a space like You Will to be mentored, to find market linkages, to find a platform where they can advocate for what they want, what they expect in a business environment in the country, and a platform to come and network with like minds.
Okay. What exactly, when you talk about mentorship, what exactly, how do you mentor these youth groups that come into, who are part of UL?
We have I believe the women in You Will, most of them who are not youthful, are there because they have businesses and they have thrived in those businesses. They are probably looking for things like market linkages, which are things that maybe the youth may not. They come into the space, some of them, when they don't even know exactly what they want to do. They come into the space to get knowledge about how to even run a business, but they are not even sure which business they are going to run. So through our capacity building programs, the youth are able to identify what it is that they want to do. And while there, you can identify which woman has done it and has done it so good that you would want them to mentor you. So when you identify who that person is, you're attached, and the person can be able to mentor you through. So the Secretariat will organize an engagement between you and your mentor, between you and the other woman entrepreneur who has succeeded so well, so that you're able to interact and have a business to business or a mentorship kind of relationship with that mentor, with that woman entrepreneur who has made it.
Muhaise, to bring you in, many of these kind of associations, and yours has been here for a while, since 1987, are quite elitist. They don't bring on board the Chikuva woman sometimes. It's kind of an exclusive kind of club. And I'm not saying yours is an exclusive club, but many kind of these associations have that elitist element. How do you ensure that you involve the Chikuva woman, you involve the rural woman, you involve the young people who need these mentorship skills, and bring everybody on board collectively?
Thank you, Emma. As our chair said, we are in 78 districts, and those women are grassroots, just like the Chikuvo you are talking about. When we have trainings, we invite them to come for this training free. We don't charge them, so they come and they are able to be mentored. As you said, there are so many groups which have elites. Ours is all encompassing. They are the elites, they are the big business. Like you can see her, she's a member of You Will, and yet she has a quite big business. We have these young people. Now with the COVID, you know, majority of the youth might not actually go back to school. You know, they may not have the school fees, but if they know that they have somewhere that they can go and be mentored to do something so that they contribute to the economy, they should come to You Will. We are there to receive them, and we are going to mentor them at no cost. Yeah.
So how holistic are your programs? For instance, if you want to help a rural woman today who is grappling with a number of challenges, they've been growing food for the subsistence production to feed their families, and the stability of a home is really anchored on, you know, that subsistence farming, and they are grappling with a number. Tomorrow they want to form an association and maybe start growing coffee on a large scale and try to tap into the export market, and they are grappling with things like high credit financing, things to do with agro-processing, things to do with climate change, you know, and all these changing planting seasons and the vagaries of weather and all the challenges. How do you address, do you have holistic programs that deal with this kind of situation?
Thank you, Emma, for bringing that. Actually, the other strategy that we are using to bring these women up. We are setting up an incubation center. We got a 2-acre land at Namamve industrial area, whereby we are putting an incubation center. This incubation center will encompass all women. Those women who grow like shea butter, nuts, they are not able to process and package and even export or even sell locally. So this incubation center will give them that facility whereby they will bring their products, whatever they are making, then they are able to be packaged or processed. They will be shown how to do it, and then they will be able to export them. Maybe they will, as you say, Bubu, buy Uganda, build Uganda. They will be able to sell within, but before they had no idea what they can do with whatever they have. Some of them, they just put it and sometimes it rots. But now they have an opportunity at our Namamve Incubation Center. When they bring it there, we are going to show them how to process and add value to whatever they are making, they are producing, so that they are able to sell locally or internationally.
To bring you in, we know that a woman is a fulcrum of a family. And what kind of expectations do we have now that the economy is going to open up in January, like the president says, if indeed the economy opens up in January? Where are the opportunities for women entrepreneurs? Definitely we're coming from a very difficult situation in regard to the COVID pandemic. But where do you see the opportunities for women entrepreneurs?
Thank you so much, Emma. One thing that I can really bring to your notice is when the pandemic hit us, we started helping our women to come online. For the women who had smartphones, Outbox partnered with us to train the women to come online. So some of the women have already tested what it means to be online. So already they have linkages with people that can do. And also you will, as an association, we have a Facebook page, we have a WhatsApp group. Every Tuesday we post what we do on that platform. So we are marketeers for each other. Everyone, when you post your product, we either buy from you or we can also recommend you to another person. That is already a platform that is happening. Then as the economy is opening, we are still going to continue with the capacity building, because we still need to train and be confident with what we have. So we have been training on Zoom, but not all the women could enjoy that training, because some of them don't have smartphones, some of them don't have computers, because when the economy fully opens, we are going to be able to train them face to face. And we have chapters which Director Uda has told you about. We have over about 78 chapters. This is in almost every district in this country. Now what happens in those chapters, they organize themselves, these women organize themselves and also train and speak about what they are doing, and they are helped. So you find that there are some districts that already have cooperatives. They have opened their cooperatives and they can be able to access even this UDB loan using their cooperative. So when you come and you are an association, it becomes easy to market your products. It becomes easy to go on the East African platform, because as you will, we also are members of COMESA. We are members of the East African Women Business Platform. So those platforms help us to have more linkages. So you find that the women are able, they have a bigger space to operate. And like Director Sarah was saying about Namamve, Namamve is a place that we want to raise standards. We don't want our women to go in East Africa, Africa, Uganda, when the products have issues. What we are doing, yes, we've been training in areas, because we normally find out where do these women need to be trained.
Value addition.
Yes. So after we have done that, then when you are intubated, you're able to meet standards. So you can go anywhere, and as they move out in that way, their businesses can grow, and also they are able to do much more than what you think they can do. So our prayer is just for the economy to open up, to stabilize, but we are already in the path to achieving what it takes for a woman to be able to realize what they are supposed to do in their business.
For instance, if we look at specifically the tourism industry, and it's quite, it plays a major role in terms of, you know, it brings quite one of the largest contributors to our GDP. And women play quite a critical role, and the beauty about it, it has the trickle-down effect, that a woman who can be able to make baskets, then is able to, you know, earn from the tourists, the Chinese or American tourist who buys their craft, that the women who are who run tours and travels, that the women who run the transport business in the tourism sector, and those who have lodges and all these kind of things. Do you have a kind of model where you say, for instance, in January 2022, perhaps tourism could be emerging, or agriculture, or whatever it is, priority sectors that you look at, so that you involve women and know that, for instance, we have a comparative advantage in agriculture. How can we strengthen the component of agro-processing under this incubation program, which is a brilliant idea?
Thank you, Emma. Earlier on, we shared with you that in UWIL, we group ourselves in clusters. Now, what happens in the clusters, like for me in the education cluster, education and training, we have also been hit by COVID,
yes,
and soon we are going to reopen. But we've been closed for 2 years. So in the sector, you may not cry out on the platform to everyone. People may not know how to help you. But in the cluster of education, you're able to meet with fellow education entrepreneurs who are able to share their life stories, who are able to share with you their findings, who are able to open up and tell you what they are doing, and you're able to learn. In one of the vibrant clusters we have are the crafts. They are so organized that they are even now planning to go to an exhibition in Tanzania, in Mwanza. They are going for, yes. So they are already, COVID is there, we are locked, but they are moving to go and market their products and also discover what others are doing. So our clusters really play a very big role of what you are saying, because in clusters, where is the need? Where is the market? How can we help you? Do we need an advocacy issue? Do we need market? So in the clusters, that is where what you're asking is really, really catered for, and it helps us to move. So for women who haven't yet even joined UWIL, I really want to call upon them that, you know, you can't run business alone. It becomes so lonely there. It may be so difficult. But when you come in this space and you're able to meet others and they share with you, they're able to encourage you, they're able to open your eyes, you find that your business can easily grow and move to another level.
You're in the space of, you're in the education sector, and
yes,
Victoria Schools been doing quite well. How are you coping as private schools that, you know, you've gone 2 years without, I mean, a livelihood in terms of the fact that students have been at home, and you've been asking for a stimuli from government to try and prop you up, and a kind of, you've also asked that your loans are restructured so that you're given longer spells instead of the banks, you know, coming and foreclosing on the collateral that you stake to get these loans. How are you coping in this area?
Thank you so much. One thing I will tell you is that where there is challenge, always you will find an opportunity. When schools were closed, we thought in 2 weeks or 1 month we are going to go back. And we kept being hopeful that these things will soon end, because education is one of the sectors that you think it's essential to a human being, to the child. But COVID disapproved that. So when this happened, what has been happening is for us as educators to come together as entrepreneurs, school owners, to come together and look at what are the possibilities that can happen. Because there are children who have been learning online. There are children who cannot afford being online. There are children who have been getting work to do in the community because there has been community education that has been happening. And there are children who have never learned anything since we closed in March 2020. So all these things are challenges that are to an individual. I cannot say as a school we have been able to meet everyone's need, but you find that every category, there are those that can be online, there are those that can be able to receive work and do the work and send to you, and you're able to help them. So we've been handling cases case by case. But we also have schools that people gave up and said, you know, instead of a school, let me turn this into a lodge. Let me do this, let me turn this school into a supermarket. So everyone has had their own decision, but most of the people who have been in the association, they have been helped, because you find a platform where you are encouraged. That's why I'm still sticking to the woman out there. Please do not be in isolation. You need to be in a network. You need to be in an association where you are going to be mentored, where you're going to be helped. And when you're helped, you never remain the same. Even today when we have this youth here, Director Uda, she sees how we are doing things. And I believe by the time she's at our age, she's going to do greater things than we have done, because she has practically seen what we are doing, and she's energized, and her dream is even bigger, grows bigger and bigger than what we would think.
Thank you very much. We'll be taking a commercial break. We're discussing empowering women entrepreneurs.
Global Paints now comes in a new look and the most brilliant colors. Global Paints, a reliable product.
Get the digital assist with Absys digital channels and bank anytime.
Introducing the all-new Roofing's TMX 500C rebars with cut and bend surfaces. Roofing's, strength of a nation.
Welcome back. You're watching Citizen Voices, and the topic is empowering women entrepreneurs. Before we took a break, Huda, I would like you to share with our audience basically how you grew your company from the young stage, your company which deals in specialty teas and ornamental plants, you say. It would be quite inspiring for you as, you know, a young person. I guess it was no walk in the park.
Thank you so much, Emma, for asking that question, because I believe most of us are inspired through stories. I started my business in 2016, and that time I didn't know what it took. All I knew is I needed something to bring in money, but I didn't know what it took to professionalize a business. So I looked through my passions, And I was all like, what is it that I love that I can make money out of? I realized that I'm very passionate about nature and good health, and the kind of teas that I used to take on a daily were something that maybe I could turn into a profit-making venture. So one day I started packing hibiscus and black spice tea, and I took it to the supermarket. I stormed the supermarket. Even I didn't know it took a company. I had been to school. I did a business course, but I didn't know what it took to have a product on shelf. Every day I would walk into a supermarket. I saw items, and I thought anyone who has a product can actually go and sell. And the most amazing thing is I went to one of the high-end supermarkets. When I got the branding right, I walked to ShopRite, and I told them I have this product of mine and I want it on your shelf. So when I was there, the lady told me, "Do you have a company?" I was like, "That is like too big." I felt like a company, you have to have like, you know, millions and millions of money. So when she asked me, "Do you have a company?" at some point I felt like my heart downsizing. I was like, "Oh my goodness, is my dream coming true because I don't have a company?" I told her I don't have a company, but the product is really good. I can give you to test it. So she told me, no, it's not about that. You know, you have to have certain. So she was really kind. She gave me a list of the requirements that I needed to be able to be on the shelf. And I went back and I worked on each of those requirements, which meant if I could qualify for ShopRite, I could go to any other supermarket. So I went back, I started looking for a barcode, I started looking into registering my business. Now that's where I had a hardship when it came to registering, formalizing. I didn't know how. So I went to a lawyer and they asked for a very ambiguous amount of money. Thank God I was employed. How
much did they ask for? they asked for
1.5, which is unrealistic because I went to register an association later on, 3 years after, and I realized it cost like 300 something. I was like, oh my God, how? So the lawyer took the money and he did what I asked him to do. But the problem, still, I went to my dad. I told him, you know what, I'm starting up a business and I need you to help me sign here as the other shareholder because this is what it takes to have a company. My dad was all like, no, I can't. I heard that, you know, UNBS can come for you in case you don't have certain requirements. I don't want to go down with you. I understood his fears. I don't want to go down with you. I understood his fears, and that's why the moment he appended the signature, I knew that it was really serious for him. He never wanted to be anywhere because of UNBS. Of course. I had to make sure that I look out for the spaces where I can have someone hand walk me through the process of UNBS, and I found that at UWIL. I was taken through the process of certification by the people at UWIL because we have a partnership with UNBS. So any youth who is out there and you're struggling with the process of formalizing, having your products certified, professionalizing your business, this is the perfect space for you to come and have all those answered so that you can be able to move your business in that space.
So then how today you're selling your specialty teas to Tanzania, to Kenya.
Yes.
How? I guess it wasn't also, I mean, you didn't wake up and all of a sudden you're exporting. It took you faced a number of monumental challenges. How did you get to that point?
The point of export, again through UWIL, we had an opportunity where we always have these. The Uganda Export Promotion Board comes to tell us what it takes to be able to export your product. So I had attended about 3 workshops of the Export Promotion Board where they were telling us about export. But the only missing link about all their trainings was they never ever told us where the market is. They would tell you what it takes to take there, but they never told you if the market for your product is really there. So having known what it takes to export, I had to establish the market. I had to go online and find out if my tea is demanded in the countries where I expected to take it, and if it was, where was I supposed, what was the selling point of my tea. I attended a few expos through association still, and I realized that I could actually do the same kind of arrangement. The way I supply supermarkets here is the same way I can supply supermarkets the other side, but have a courier transport my tea. And that's how I started export.
To bring you in, credit is a very important aspect, and you're the treasurer of UL.
True.
And you're trying to work out something with UDB. But internally, do you have any mechanism where you come to the aid of your members in terms of, finance, loans and things like that?
Emma, we do help the women, but we haven't gone there because we don't have funds that we put aside for that. But however, we get partners who sponsors to train the women on the grassroots. They pay for that training so that we are able to reach people in the north, in every area. We have, like now, we have a shea butter training which is going on the northern corridor. That one has been sponsored by one of our donors. And through that, women are able to know how...
There's an entrepreneur in northern Uganda who is famous in shea butter production.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is what we are doing on the northern corridor. Now they are able to know how to process. They are also going to finance to bring a machine and put up a factory there where the women, those who do not know how to do these things, or where they can take, and this the shea butter are value added and they are packaged for international market. That is what is happening right now. So, but we don't have like cash where we can give the women. So the only way now we can give them this funding is this partnership with UDB, where we have negotiated very low rates, because currently commercial banks are charging 23. Microfinance is between 3 and 4% per month. That is about 48% per year. So I think through UDB, even those women in the grassroots, when they are not able to get the money for themselves, they can form themselves into a group, formalize it, come to you, and you will introduce them to UDB.
Kindly walk us through the steps, the requirements. What is the checklist? If a woman, a woman hails from from a very specific village, is into subsistence farming, has a plan to go into agro-processing and form an association. What do they need to be able to access this loan facility at UDB?
Okay, first of all, they would have to join our chapters. Those groups, they are able now to be guided on what they are supposed to do. For a woman to get a facility with the UDB, you have to have a business. You cannot just go there and say, I want to. Your business has to be legal. Then there are those, you can't just go and say, I'm growing shea butter. You have to have where you take the shea butter. Do you sell it to a wholesaler? Do you process it from your home? What do you do with it? Because they need to know what you do. And then what amounts do you want? What do you have? What is the idea you have? Do you want to package and export? Or do you want to package and sell within the community? What do you want to do? So once you know those processes, then you are able to be guided. By the way, before they go to UDB, they have to come to UWIL. We check the documentation so that they don't go there and they are chased back. So we check the documentation, then when they are proper, we forward them to UDB.
To bring you in, we know that for an economy to be robust, we need to be able to develop the capacity of our entrepreneurs. Any robust economy is built by its own local entrepreneurs to go into the stage of manufacturing and industrialization. But I guess, just like other businesses, women businesses face a number of bottlenecks, high electricity tariffs, high taxes, and all these kind of things. How would you want government to help you as women entrepreneurs to, give you some kind of competitive edge and eliminate some of these hurdles that you face as businesses?
Thank you so much, Emma. One of the prayer that I would make today is really to support our Namamve project. Because in Namamve, it's not only for agriculture sector, but it's for all sectors where they are going to be incubated. So if we can have partners who can help us to finish up that facility, we will be able to have better entrepreneurs who will really supply goods with quality standards that will meet any standard. So that would be my first prayer for that. Then the other is also for us to still continue opening markets. Where are the markets? You heard Director Uda say, I was trained, but I was not shown that this is where the market is. So if we can really be helped to know that this market is here, then we start preparing our women, because putting them even in associations is very easy, so that they can be able to meet that particular market that is needed. And I know if we know that this is what is needed, this is the quantity, these are the times, then it will be very easy for our women to do that. So for today, let me say a prayer for two. The Namamve project, if we can really be able to do that, and also linking us up to the markets, it will be something so great for our women.
We know that the issue of markets is quite pivotal in doing businesses and in the process of basically sustaining an entrepreneurship model. But at the same time, it requires a certain kind of standard. Markets have all sorts of challenges. They have protectionist interests. They have, for instance, in agriculture, they want to, ensure that the quality of products that's coming on board meets a certain standard within the context of GMOs and all these kind of things. Value addition then becomes quite an important aspect here. Do you have market integration as part of your deliberate focus as an organization?
Thank you so much. Like what we are doing now, having our women in clusters, because if you're in clusters and you're producing, like what Director Sarah was saying, the shea butter, that whole northern corridor, if now we need to start exporting, we are already training them on the whole value chain for that. Now, when that factory is established there, we will know that these are the right standards that can be that can come out of what our women are doing. And also, when we get that open market wherever it is, we will be able to sustain, because we are not looking at one individual, we are looking at all the people in the northern corridor doing shea butter. So when that happens, it becomes something so great, because for us as an association, we are not promoting an individual, but we want to see the women promoted. And when these women, whatever they are doing, reaches that standard, then also the economy is able to benefit, the families are able to benefit, taxes are paid, foreign exchange comes in, because these products are not only used in here, but also the other markets can open up. So all that can really be able to help us. But one thing I would really wish to request, that I'm really still calling out women, because your will is a place that would really want to help our women know, how do I register my business? What are the things needed? Because there are some women that are still at a micro level. They cannot move far because their businesses are not registered. They can't do much now. When you ask for any book, it's not there. We have definitely gone and trained them. This is how you do the books. This is what you need.
Books of account.
Everything. We go through those processes in our trainings, so that a woman is exposed to every level of doing those things, so that they can be able to be competent in the country And also, you can't start thinking about international markets when you are not yet recognized in Uganda. And we have partnerships with the URSB. We are working with them. They come to UWIL and they are able to help these women to know exactly what to do. We have been in partnership through the UN Women with PPDA. PPDA has moved the whole country almost, training our women how they can be able to procure government or any contracts that open. But women have not been doing this. Even UWIL, together with PPDA, have really been advocating for these procurement contracts. When they come, can we see that women are considered? And it is in the pipeline that women and the youth are going to have at least 30% that is reserved for them.
Huda, I guess you've experienced a number of success stories at UWIL. Perhaps you've seen businesses that have started in backroom offices, businesses that have started with very low funding, businesses that have struggled at a nascent stage, but today they've turned out into, profitable ventures. What are some of those that you can share with us?
Myself, I would say I'm one of those businesses, because the time when I joined the Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association, I had just one product. But right now, it would give me a lot of pleasure to walk into a supermarket and I see my product in the shelf. But right now, I have over 13 products, so I can move and I see a very big, Yeah, so I'm one of those businesses. I've learned a lot business-wise. I've become a mentor to people who would want to start up businesses, to my fellow young people who intend to start up businesses. We have businesses like Miss Regina Nakayenga of Rena Beverages. She started in the garage at her home, and now she has a full-fledged facility that does juices and teas. We have Miss Prudence of Bella Wine. She started at home, and now she has a factory. So we have Aloisha, the late Aisha Nakasuja, was a member of our association. She started and grew her business through our association. Those are just some of them. So you have Dr. Barbara Ofonobiondo here with us, and so many. We have Miss Jennifer Mwijuche of Infright. All of them started as small businesses, but through the exposure we have at the Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association, they are able to sustain, to scale their businesses to what you see their businesses are today.
Are you integrating technology to improve the way, for instance, you market your products? Because as you know today, we're a global village. And if you quickly want to make a pitch, maybe for your products in Middle East, there's lots of things on cyberspace that bring you closer to an international community to make a pitch and be able to sell your product. How are you utilizing that space?
Yes, the beauty about belonging to an association, like the way our chair was talking about, you never miss out on the changing trends. As the association, we have partnered with organizations like Outbox to train our women in digitalization, and I'm part of the membership. So that means I know and I've been trained, and my presence online is visible. So as an association, we know that right now you cannot do without the internet, and our women, even the women at the grassroots, have been trained in how to maximize their presence online to create a market for their businesses.
Please, why is it you think it is important for women groups and associations, or those who want to come into this entrepreneurial space, to ensure that their businesses are legally registered, that they get, basic trainings about organizational capacity, basic trainings about how to integrate their businesses with larger markets, and how can you as UL be able to help women, for instance, those in the rural areas, organize themselves into, you know, this kind of robust organizations?
Yeah, as we have said through chapters, once the women are registered, legally registered, they will not only get the financing. You have heard our chair talking about PPDA, how women have been given, assigned, actually now it has been confirmed, 30% of the government contracts will go to the women and the youth. Now, if you have a legally registered company, you can actually bid for those contracts. Even when you are in the villages, remember the contract, the government contracts, some of them are actually in the villages. So they might be in your district, and you have this organization. If it is properly registered, and since you have been getting the training, you know how to go about it. PPDA have gone to those areas and they have trained them on how they can bid this. And they are open. They always, they have an open door. If you have any issue, you go to them, and then they will guide you on how to go about it. So the way we can do that for the women in the rural areas is continue educating them. We continue partnering with PPDA and URSP so that these women they are knowledgeable. They know that the sky is the limit. So I can go and bid for the toilets, for digging for toilets, yeah? And I get the money from the government. The minute they get that confidence, then they are able to go far, yeah.
Gender emancipation is one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and I guess there are a number of organizations, including international NGOs, that are very keen on this kind of efforts and initiative that you're doing in this country. You talked about UN Women, but do you have a collaborative mechanism, for instance, with other organizations that may come in to empower women entrepreneurs?
Thank you so much, Emma. Currently, even with the signing of the Gender Equality Seal, many of our members have been able to sign. I'm among the people who have signed the Gender Seal, so that this is practiced right in my organization with other members of UWIL. Because when you seek out an opportunity, what happens when you hear? Because with women, when they hear, they will come and blow it on the platform. This is what I have found out. Can you please go and have this? So it's something that we really do. If there is any opportunity out there, our members automatically are able to know that on the platform, and even we encourage them to be able to do what they are supposed to. I also wanted to give some clarification. In this month of Women Entrepreneurs, November, we have so many activities. The ones you are asking, Director Sarah, most of those activities are even part of the activities we are doing in this month. So the women are getting exposed to all these things right through training. The capacity building is helping them to open their eyes to be able to do this. So it's not only using the international organizations or agencies only, but also we bring back to ourselves and say what is happening. We also have members share their success stories on the platform. Just recently, Prudence has been sharing with us how successful Bear Wine has been. So all that, when they share, they are able to come out. There is even a platform of MOOBs. Every Thursday there are trainings. And most of our women have really shared stories, practical stories of their journey to success, their challenges. And you find that as they do that, other people are learning, and also the others, they themselves know what to do, and others are learning and are able to be helped better. So the issue of gender equality is really taken care of in our organizations. And maybe something that Emma, you would be wondering, would say, these women that are empowered, how are their families? I really want to assure you that we have most settled families with these empowered women. Do you hear of Omala Adieri of Cheers, Mama Cheer? She's a member of You Will. Do you hear of Amina of Amuru, the sugarcane? She's a member of You Will. Do you hear of Dr. Goodla, Leisure Farm, Goodla Leisure Farm? She is a member of You Will. I can count and count for you. But one thing you can hear from the names I'm counting for you, they have stable marriages, they have stable homes, they have been empowered, and they are even role modeling to our younger generation that I can be empowered, I can be a CEO of this organization, at my home is together, and we can do things with as a family in our home. Thank you.
COVID-19 could amplified inequalities. Those in the upper crust, you know, stayed there or even gained more in typical countries like third worlds, like Uganda. Those in the lower crust sank even right at the bottom. And women are part of that group. Many women are part of that group. And this is quite challenging. The other challenge that arose as a result of COVID are our teenage girls who have not been going to school, and we've had so many cases of teenage pregnancies. Teachers is another group, female teachers who may not return to school to teach again as a result of what has happened. They've gone 2 years without a source of livelihood, and they had not thought about, you know, things like diversifying or trying to find a kind of small enterprise to anchor their living and find another source of livelihood. How we seem to be coming from a period of gloom. How do we help the girl child who is pregnant, who cannot go back to school? How do we help a woman in a rural homestead who has been a victim of gender-based violence, which also, there was an uptick in terms of, you know, cases as a result of all the challenges. Men have been laid off from their sources of employment and livelihood, and they've resorted to alcohol and all these kind of things. How do we help these categories of people?
I'm particularly very passionate about the question that you've asked, because when you talk about the effects of COVID-19, we were all affected, yes, but some more than others. And I believe the young women who have gotten the negative societal backlash because of the effects of COVID-19, for example, those who have conceived during the lockdown, some of them are still so young. They're like, some of them have been forced into marriages because their families cannot afford food anymore, so you rather get married and, you know, have someone take care of you. That particularly is a very disturbing situation, but the beauty right now is you cannot lament about what has already been done. If the damage was already done, the only way to move forward is by looking for the opportunity that lies ahead. And I believe the young girl who is out there listening to us right now, if you know of any woman or young woman who has been affected by the lockdown, it could be monetary because they cannot afford school fees anymore. Maybe they lost their parents due to the pandemic, maybe they are caretakers due to the pandemic, and they are trying to look out for a source of livelihood. They're trying to find something to be able to fend for themselves moving forward. I believe this is an opportunity for you to introduce them to an association, to our association, Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association. We are located at Umasho Grounds, Lugogo, You Will House. I believe this is an opportunity for them to find a place where they can be able to learn entrepreneurship skills so that they are able to move to better their livelihoods.
Yeah, your last word to the viewers, Huda.
My last words to the viewers, especially to the youth out there, believe in your idea. If you have an idea and you're just not sure how it will work out, belong to an association, be guided, be mentored, and the sky is the limit. find Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association if you're a young woman out there and you're looking for a way of growing or sustaining your business. Even if you don't have a business idea, you could get an idea, you know, when you join when you get a pool of like minds, you can generate an idea from there. So just locate us and let us help each other.
Your last comments.
For me is to ask the women out there, please come and join your will. If you don't have any business, we will show you the way. If you are in a group and you are not able to build your business further, to improve it, come to your will. We will show you how you can get the facility and improve your business. We are putting up an incubation center. We are fundraising. Women, members of your will, please, this is our project. Come and support it. Thank you.
Your last comments.
Thank you so much, Emma. Thank you so much, viewers, for taking your time to listen in. But I just want to tell you that we are in the journey of seeing that a wealthy woman, the nation also becomes